Why won't anyone follow through and do what they say they'll do? If you or your teammates are asking this question, you're headed for conflict. But when you look at high-performing teams, one common characteristic is that accountability isn't just the manager's job. The team holds one another accountable and their manager too. That level of team accountability doesn't just happen. Accountable teams talk about accountability. They work at it, and they have the tools to address it when things break down. We want that for you and your team too. Having an accountability conversation with a teammate can feel scary. You might worry that you'll screw up your friendship or be told to stay in your lane. Or you might worry your intervention feels like finger pointing and, hey, you're not perfect either, so you avoid saying anything, so no fingers come pointing back at you. Or you and your teammates might not know how to hold these conversations productively. The INSPIRE method is a proven, practical way you can have feedback conversations that build relationships and get results. INSPIRE is an acronym that will walk you through the 3 stages of your conversation. The first stage is connection. In any accountability conversation, you have the best chance at success when you begin by connecting to the person and communicating your intention for the conversation. The first 3 steps in the INSPIRE method help you to do both. I, initiate the conversation respectfully and state your intention. This could be something as simple as, my intent for our conversation is to make sure that we can get this project done with minimal disruptions to both of our teams. Or, I'd like to talk about how we can take less time to get our reports done accurately. Is this a convenient time? Or if you have a more sensitive or more serious conversation in mind, you may say something like, I really care about this project and our working relationship. I have some ideas that can help, and I'd like to talk with you about, and then state it. And notice and share your observation. This is where you start with your experience of the situation. Keep the focus on what you have observed, not what you think their behavior means. We're deliberate in using the word notice because you can notice a behavior, but you can't notice an attitude. For example, you wouldn't want to tell your coworker, I've noticed you have a poor attitude. It's presumptuous. You don't actually know their attitude. Instead, focus on observable behaviors. For example, I noticed I don't have the report you said I'd get at 9 this morning. If you aren't sure how to talk about something that feels like an attitude, here's a technique you can use to figure out the observable behaviors. Imagine that you're watching a video of what happened and then describe the activity or its absence in the imaginary video. Those are the observable behaviors. For example, I noticed that in our meeting this morning, when our teammate proposed her idea, you interrupted her, rolled your eyes, and said, that's ridiculous. Then you folded your arms, leaned back, and said nothing else. S, support. The last step of the connection stage is to provide specific examples if they weren't already clear in the end notice step. For example, if you begin with, I've noticed you've been joining our meetings late, you might provide support by saying, for example, today's meeting started at 8 and you joined at 8:15. Yesterday's staff meeting started at 4 and you joined at 4:20. In this stage, you can also share the impact or trouble the behaviors cause. For example, as a result, we weren't able to, or we're all spending several hours we don't have trying to redo this work. Connecting well to the other person, your intent, and the specific topic make all the difference when holding a team accountability conversation with a colleague. The real magic of the INSPIRE method comes in the next stage, curiosity. This is where you ask open-ended questions to learn their perspective, encourage reflection, and consider solutions. P, probe with open-ended questions. When you probe, it can be as simple as asking, what's going on? Or how does this look from your perspective? Or more variation, I'm curious what's happening for you here. The key to this step is to ask with genuine curiosity. There may be an excellent reason for what happened. You don't want to assume a character flaw or ill intent. I invite their solution. Next, in the invitation stage, you ask them for their solutions. Here are a few examples. How do you think we can get the data from your group on time? What do you think you can do to ensure that you're at our meetings on time? I'd love to get your ideas on how we might improve our transitions. And you close the Inspire method conversation with commitment. This stage starts with R, review your commitment. Here's where you recap your mutual commitment. This is a check for understanding. For example, great, so what I hear you'll do is talk to the developers and let them know that you have to finish this project before going full force on that one. What I'll do is talk with our manager so she knows the current priorities. E, enforce with a scheduled time to revisit your agreement. Schedule a finish with a follow-up meeting to discuss the new commitment you've made. For example, we have 2 more cycles on this project this month. Can we schedule time on the 30th at 3 p.m. to talk about how we're doing? Or how about we take 5 minutes after next week's meeting and see how we do with our new commitments?
As you prepare to have an Inspire conversation, here's one last thought to help it go well. Remember, your manager or coworker is an imperfect human being doing the best they can, just like you. It is highly unlikely that they woke up and brushed their teeth this morning dreaming up ways to be more difficult and frustrating to you or the rest of your team. Maybe they're unaware of the impact of their behavior. Or perhaps they've had a bad role model or two. Or it could be they haven't received the leadership training they need. Or they could be dealing with a personal or work pressure you don't fully understand. Start with the benefit of the doubt that this can and will work. The Inspire method is a proven way to make these feedback conversations natural and effective. Ongoing accountability conversations using this method will prevent conflicts from escalating, build trust, and improve morale within your team. You've got this.